That's him. I'm me. You're you. We're all here. It's draft night. We told you we are going to be here. We're here.
Boom. Our not special guests, but guests might be coming in soon.
No, I told Schweitzer to avoid babies like bedtime because if somebody walks in right when we're putting baby down, then he gets distracted, and then it's just like. So I told him either before 7:15 or after 7:30.
Gotcha. Okay. We don't have a special guest this week. We're gonna have Schweitz chime in.
He doesn't. He would actually be sitting off camera chiming in because he has no interest in doing what we're doing here. He would be sitting probably over there somewhere.
Probably. Yeah, you just hear his voice, kind of like a bad narration over. He's not though. Yeah. If he sounded like Morgan Freeman, would be kind of cool, but
he doesn't.
And then the Redskins drafted.
We did promise you. We did say we were going to do this during the draft, but then we reevaluated that piece of information and realized doing a minute and 30-second to 2-minute clips between boards every 20 minutes was just not going to cut it. So we just figured we'd get it out of the way first.
And the fact that we'd have to pause and just watch the damn, it would have been like 3-hour podcasts anyway. And all right, first topic. Not really so much on the draft, but just kind of wrapping up all the crazy free agent stuff. First off, I did want to say this. Greg Hardy suspended 10 games.
Yeah. That was coming. We all knew it.
So happy that I wanted the Redskins to pick him up because he's a good player, but in the same breath, he plays for Dallas, and now they don't have him. So that's awesome.
And Mike Golick's right. Anyone who's like chastising the NFL or the NFLPA saying, "Hey, that's too harsh. That's too much." Golick's right. They hammered him to the wall, and that's exactly what needs to happen because these guys aren't going to learn unless you start taking their cash.
You heard what happened with the WNBA, right? Brittany Griner beat up her fiance. Yeah, you know who's the butch in that relationship?
There was no doubt. She probably had it coming though.
Yeah, they it was like a weird conversation. It was a weird thing because they don't know how to handle that. They don't have a domestic violence issue in they don't have a domestic community. They don't have a policy on it in the WNBA. Because usually the woman is the receiving end of domestic violence or domestic abuse, not the man, at least not a professional male athlete. And so they never had a policy on it. Now I guess they're gonna have to write one. Everyone was like, there was two. I was listening to people talk one of the sports things, and they were like, well, all these men are like, well, how come it's not a big deal that she does it, but you make a big hoopla when a man does it? It's a huge difference because it's a man and a woman. A man who is significantly has more muscle and testosterone in his system hitting on a woman who has significantly less testosterone in her system. It's different when it's two ways. That's like if me and him got in a fight right now, it's not domestic violence. It's us getting in a fight.
Well, but then with their WNBA PA not having any rule on it, then there's that changes the situation entirely because it's something they didn't plan on. Yeah. So you can't prosecute someone for a crime that wasn't on the docket. And you can't go back.
The rumor is they're going to suspend her about a third of the season.
Well, they'll just put it in the conduct policy.
Probably. Well, that's the thing about any kind of like
conduct detrimental to the league.
Well, any kind of league, any kind of sporting league, I should say, has. I think they call it actually a constitution, don't they?
No, whatever, but essentially it comes under a bad press clause. You do not want to cause the league bad press.
Every league's constitution is amendable. So that's like the NFL mid-season last year. They changed the policy, and every owner, the board of governors, signed off on it. So just want to talk about that for 5 seconds. Anything else before we get into our topics? While we're on the topics of breaking the law, let's talk about Shane Ray and Randy Gregory.
Randy Gregory is the moron of the... Well, actually, Shane Ray is now the moron of the week because you don't do that. I mean, if you were speeding, don't have anything in the car. Just don't. Just don't. If you want to speed around in the car that apparently college players can't afford because they're not making any money, that's fine. Whatever you want to do. But don't get caught with an illicit substance in there. I know it's only a misdemeanor, but it doesn't matter to the NFL because now he's in stage one. He comes in stage one of the substance abuse policy.
Yeah.
Which means he's going to be popped, every 10 times a month? It's like ridiculous how many times
it
they pop
actually,
for a test.
yeah, and if there's any kind of it's weird, in the NFL is kind of. I'm going to support the NFL and I'm going to go against it for 2 seconds. I'm going to support the players. If you're a player, and let's say you have a really good game, like say Tom Brady throws 6 touchdown passes, right?
Mm.
The next Monday, the following Monday, like the next day or sometime that week, he will get drug tested.
Well, yeah.
Why is it performance based? If he's good all the time, why? I mean, it's not. It's supposed to be random drug testing, but that's not very random. If as soon as he does something really, he has a good game, all of a sudden he gets drug tested. Is that really random? And that's the issue I have with. That's the only issue I have with the NFL. I understand their policies and their rules, and you are the business, so you make the rules that your employees have to abide by. But it's not fair that just because someone has a good game, they're automatically under scrutiny and accused of cheating. That's an instant accusement what's the word? That's instant accusation. It's an instant accusation that you're cheating. That the second you come off a great, let's say, Ryan Kerrigan gets like 6 sacks in one game. That week he gets drug tested. Okay, and that's almost immediately saying, "Hey, we don't think you're good enough to do this. You had to have cheated to do this." That's basically what it says.
But they do it every time they do something that great. So then it's just part of the policy. And I'm telling you one thing. Trying to cheat a drug test in the NFL has got to be the most impossible thing to do in the world.
Well, I don't think it's impossible.
They test diluted samples. They even back test it against previous samples to make sure the DNA and all the chemical composition is similar. Like, they go crazy with it. So it's not like he can walk in and get like, Vince.
Well, the P test is one thing. It's blood. It's blood it's complicated. The blood tests take forever. But it's P tests that are the simpler ones too.
Well, the ridiculous thing is that they were testing for only one illicit substance. They could just go with a hair sample and then because you can't fake the hair sample
or blood. I mean, you can't fake a blood sample either.
Someone's your similar type and they didn't do DNA typing, you could probably get away with it. But anyway, I appreciate how thoroughly the NFL takes that, or how seriously they take it and how thorough they are with it. But having said that, I'm also of the same token that let them play. Like, seriously, if they want to juice and get stupid about it, let them do it. Their careers will last 3 years. They'll be dead of cardiac arrest in a ditch somewhere. And after, I don't know, about 3 cycles of that, say total of 10 seasons, people are going to quit using that crap together.
They're also going to have people that quit playing football because they feel they have to do that to compete in the sport. And then they still have people dying. Like, well, I don't want to die, so I'm just not going to play football.
I think it would actually work itself out because there are guys in there that are that passionate.
There's already a huge downswing in the sport of football in youth just because of head concussions. Now what happens if all the players are jacked up on steroids? And the only other issue you're having with steroids is not only steroids do work. They do make you stronger. They may give you more energy, make your pee shrink. They make your sperm count go low. There's a difference. They make your pee shrink, whatever. Also trying to thought. They do work. They do actually work on making you stronger, but there's other downsides. Like, for example, your joints deteriorate. That's why you can see people using steroids are very easily, like, their joints deteriorate and they get injuries very quickly. You're more prone to injury than you are. Then it's not worth it because you're going to get stronger, but you're not exactly putting your body in a position to take the impact that you're preparing your body for. If that makes sense. Here's my opinion. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but I think I might have mentioned to you before. I think in baseball, steroids should be allowed. Hear me out. And in football, HGH should be allowed, but not steroids. The reason why that is, in baseball, it's not a contact sport. And being able to hit the ball harder and further actually makes the sport more popular and funner to watch. And I don't think HGH should be used in baseball because you're not as injured as football. But football players take a beating no matter what position you're at. Usually quarterbacks probably gets the least amount of beating, but still, you're usually the smallest player out there, at least with the least amount of muscle tone, and you're getting hit by guys that are huge. And so I think HGH should be allowed in football because it helps you recover from injuries better. And it gives you the energy and the body resilience to recover faster. That's why I like HGH in football, but I don't like steroids in football because steroids it's a contact sport, and you're gonna end up getting more injuries because everyone's bigger, faster, and stronger, and then you're gonna have the serious injuries like people knee shattering because their joints are deteriorating. So that's my opinion on that. Like in basketball, I don't really think you need either. Maybe HGH because it is an 82 game season. It's kind of a grind, but that's my opinion on that. So
well,
go with that as you may.
Well, the only thing I'll disclose or discount about your opinion is then they will still claim that there needs to be asterisks in the book stating that, well, Mark McGwire used X and X while beating this record, while Babe Ruth did it snorting 3 lines of cocaine, smoking black Cuban cigars, playing completely, utterly, totally hammered, and fucking a hooker during the 7th inning stretch. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be that because there's people that think baseball, for whatever reason, is the Catholic Church of sports, and it is so pure and so benign and so sweet and so innocent. And the only reason I'll side with that, and let's forget about drugs and how the generations change and the players become stronger and the wood becomes different, and never mind all that. At the end of the day, baseball is a simple set of mathematically based statistics. Now, yes, we can come up with QBR and we can come up with that new stat they came up with this year in the NBA. The points efficiency or game efficiency.
There's a lot.
Whatever. There's some really weird stats.
Usage percentage was a big one.
Yeah.
How often you have the ball in your hand and how often the ball is in your hand that leads to positive possessions or positive or shots or whatever.
Negative. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I agree with the baseball purist. It's pure. It actually, to me, is the purest mathematically statistical sport because it's on. They don't just come up with a new weird stat every year. It's based off this, and this is how we get to this number. Now I can't do it, and I'm not even going to try. But as far as batting average goes, the formula for calculating batting average has not changed since 1896. It's always been the same.
I get what you're saying, but I understand the purity of the sport, quote unquote. But I don't know. Baseball is one league that just won't update, get with the times per se. For example, it's the one sport where it's probably the easiest sport to have cameras at every game and get things right. Whether the guy was out at first, whether the tag was late, or whether the guy's foot was on the bag, or what it wasn't, whenever the runner ran by, or
well, I mean, if we're going to go into instant replay and how it affects the game, that's a completely different conversation.
It could be instant, but baseball doesn't want to advance that. What's the harm in it? Because you're interfering with the purity of the league. I understand that the purity of the league is fine, but guess what? It's not high school anymore. It's not like in high school. Let's say we coach high school football. Let's just say that, for example, okay? We coach high school football. We're in a game. Our team's on the goal line. We fumble the football. We watch game film 3 days later. The guy was clearly down before the ball was ripped out of his hands. You can't review that. Why? Well, because you don't have 100 cameras everywhere. Why? The NFL advances itself, and so does college football, to get that call right so someone's not screwed out of a game so that the best team wins. Why is it not the same in baseball?
The biggest reason I've heard, I've actually witnessed for myself, is because statistically speaking, and only on the math, nothing else, there are more blown calls in the NFL than there are in the MLB. And
that's because the game is so slow.
No, having said that, there's also 16 games a season versus 126 games a season per team. So
you also have a ball, and the action is where the ball is. Nothing else happens anywhere else. The action is only where the ball is. In football, there's action everywhere over a 52-yard across, 110 yards, or 120 yards, 10 yards for the end zone.
That's why I said statistically speaking, because there's far less chances in the NFL than there is in Major League Baseball.
No.
So no.
There's far more chances in the NFL for an error because you have so much more to watch and you have so fewer eyes.
No, I'm talking about. I said statistically speaking. Having said that,
I don't know. Explain to me what you mean by.
My next comparison is each NFL team plays 16 games a season, not including the playoffs. Each MLB team plays 126 games a season, excluding the playoffs. When I'm talking about statistically, baseball gets it right more often. they have more chances to get it right more often. The NFL doesn't have near as many chances to get it right more often.
In baseball, you have the ball and all the action is. If the ball is hit the third base, and the third baseman catches those at the first, no one's looking at the outfield, no one's looking at the catcher, no one's looking at the pitcher, no one's looking anywhere. It's all focused on one area.
Okay, you want to make, I understand the point you're making, but do you understand the point I'm making? Because I was basing it solely on statistics, not the play. Statistically speaking, am I right?
The game is played. It's not a mathematical algorithm. The game is played by the players, in which you have to see it. And the human error in baseball can be eliminated much easier than it is in any other sport because of what I just told you.
That's fine. But why are you arguing with me when I just said statistically speaking?
You got to explain to me what you mean by statistically speaking.
16 games a season per one team, 32 teams versus 126 games a season over 30-some teams. Baseball has a better chance of getting it right more often because there are more games to sample. When you're only talking about a small subset, you're going to screw up more often. The stat's going to be off. It could be 50-50. Over here in baseball, when you expand that 16 to 126...
I'm saying you're comparing apples to oranges because you're having action that's only placed in one area at a time in the game of baseball.
I just explained to you what I just said 3 different ways, and I also said, before I even opened, the reason that most people don't think it's needed as baseball is because statistically speaking, it's less often wrong than it is in football. And then I set up the stats saying 16 versus 126. That's all I'm trying to say is mathematically speaking, it's easier to get it right when you have more chances. I understand exactly what you're saying. It's based on
the ball. Please say it back to me, so I understand that you know what I'm saying. Please just say my point back to me.
You only have to look at one part of the field.
Yes.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Do you have any idea what I just said, though?
I know what you're saying. You're saying statistically speaking, because you have 128 games, you have 128 chances to get it right.
Versus 16 chances to get it right.
Yes.
So,
but
that's why people don't think you need it in baseball is because the stat says they don't get it wrong as often.
But they still get big things wrong.
They do.
The point.
And
my issue is all the action is in one place.
I'm just arguing on behalf of the purists.
And in football, the action's everywhere. You can't even if you watch a game film in football, my gosh, it is a pain in the ass because you're the head coach, you gotta watch every play, make sure they're doing their job. You have to rewind that game film every play like 11 to 12 times.
Yeah.
First time to watch the play, second time, what's this guy doing? What's this guy doing? It's so difficult because there's so much going on in a football game. That's why I'm saying it's an unfair comparison. I get what you're saying. You are absolutely correct when you're saying statistically because you're comparing 128 games to 16 games. It's a larger sample size here, and overall percentages are accurate.
Yes.
But why I'm saying it's an inaccurate statement because you're comparing one basement of action where everyone watches the ball, and that's where all the action will ever be in the game of baseball.
Oh, I wasn't arguing against what you were saying. I was just trying to make sure you understood what I was saying.
I understand your point. I repeated back to you, right? Okay, my point is there's so much more going on in football that, of course, there's going to be more errors. You have 22 players on the field.
Well, who was it? It was some guy on ESPN. Was it Brewski, Schler?
It probably was Brewski or Schler.
It was Brewski or Schler.
I'll tell you who it is.
I think it was one of those two. And they're like, I don't even know why they bother calling holding, because if you would go back and look at every play,
That's Schler.
Every game that's ever been played, there is always holding. Like, there's always holding on one side or the other. There's always holding. It's just whether or not they get caught. And I agree with that wholeheartedly because,
Sorry. Okay, so now we're on the same page here, but I'm just saying it's. I get your comparison. I'm just saying, in my opinion, it's not a fair comparison to make because of all the stuff going on in football compared to the very narrowed action in baseball. That's all I'm saying. If you had 3 things going on at once, yeah, but all right. No, we'll just get off the rules. My point was all I wanted to make was that I think steroids should be allowed in baseball because it makes the game a little bit more interesting to watch.
If you're gonna, I don't know.
I think here's what you should do.
I like it better.
You should have
say
players.
No, never, not anywhere, not for anywhere.
I think you should allow players that if they want to use steroids, they should, but they sign a waiver saying they can be excluded from any kind of by winning any. They can be excluded from winning anything. meaning like they can't be
You'd be exempt from Cy
from
Young,
any
Hall
kind
of Fame, anything.
Yes.
And Hall of Fame is the only reason anyone plays baseball, so you'd have a lot of people quit cold turkey immediately.
Yes. And does that make sense? Is that you okay with that?
That's fair,
because then you're not screwing up the statistics. But I guess you are screwing the statistics up for the pitchers, aren't you?
Yes, great.
But the pitchers can use it. I just say let everyone use it. Everyone in the league can afford it because everyone makes a decent amount of money, so it's not like you're getting an unfair advantage. But everyone can do it. It's not unfair.
Yeah, but the last thing you need is a pitcher on the mound that looks like Dwayne Johnson, because that is completely unproductive. That's not going to work. Because trust me, watch them little Japanese guys. They are not using HGH. They are shorter and proven to be less massive than anyone in Major League Baseball.
10 months ago.
But they can sit there and throw a sidearm knuckle dragger that will blow the mind of any American player.
It's true.
Anyway, this is football night.
We're talking about, and all I want to say was HGH should be used in football because it helps you recover from injuries. That's all I'm saying.
I like the fact that all the leagues are like, no, never, not for any reason whatsoever.
HGH?
All of them.
They don't HGH test no, they don't do it in basketball, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have no issue with HGH. It helps you recover. It does not give you an unfair advantage muscle-wise or like a testosterone boost. It just helps you recover faster from an injury. And I like that because then you don't lose your contract. You don't lose out on playing football. You don't lose your livelihood.
Yeah, but it'll still come back to the original argument, which is, well, this guy doesn't use it, so why should you be allowed to?
Well, maybe that guy doesn't get injured as much.
Well,
some of us are injury prone.
I'm just saying.
My friend Jared, you bump him on the leg. You bump into him and play basketball. He has to sit out for 30 minutes because he doesn't feel good. I mean, we all have different pain thresholds. And sometimes that HGH might just be a psychological edge you need to get you over an injury. But anyway. Okay, so we talked about Shane Ray and Randy Gregg.
Well, no, we didn't talk about Randy. Well, I think we talked about him.
We talked about him a long time ago.
But the point is, there are the two dumbest times in your life to get popped for something, anything, for any reason whatsoever at all, if you are planning on an NFL career. One, being the combine. Two, being the week of the draft. Like, he seriously lost, the estimation is he seriously lost $6 million by just doing something that stupid because he just wanted to ice out. You're going to be in the NFL. You're not in the NFL. There is a huge difference.
Yeah, there are probably people who are less talented than you that are happy as shit though. Yeah. There are people who are less talented than you that were a little lower on people's. They're both defensive ends. They're both defensive.
Yeah,
ends.
They're both the
defensive end, defensive tackles, and they're probably just like, thank God, because now they're going to move up in the draft, and I kind of hope. I think Randy Gregory's going to fall, and the Redskins are going to get him in the second round.
What's Fowler?
Fowler's a defensive end. He's the guy from Florida.
He was already up.
Well, he was number 2. He was number 1 on defensive end.
Yeah, he was. I think Schweitzer's hoping.
Because Redskins.
I think Schweitzer's hoping.
Redskins get him.
Yeah.
Well, the way the first round's supposed to go is Winston. Then I can't remember the guy's name, but the defensive tackle out of USC will go second. Then you got whoever's third was supposed to get a receiver. I think is what they said. So Kevin White,
Amari Cooper's projected to go third, but I don't. Wow, but Blake Bortles does need a damn good target.
He does, and Kevin White would definitely. And plus,
Kevin White.
Dude, they're also getting Blackman back. That could be a really tough team to play.
I like Amari Cooper. He's got a lot more football knowledge than White does.
I disagree with that whole.
I think the guy tests out a lot better.
Everyone's going to say that because he comes from Alabama. Name me the last Alabama player that actually succeeded in the NFL and did really well.
What was that dumbass stat I saw the other day? Was it LSU or Alabama that's had more arrests in the offseason than anybody else?
Probably Alabama. The SEC is really bad about it.
Yeah, but no, I think it was Alabama. I think they've had 5.
Well, there's another stat. I don't know the numbers, but every first rounder that Alabama's had, like the last since Nick Saban was there, have not panned out to be the first round picks that they said they were supposed to be. Like he's had 2 offensive linemen go like top 5. They were considered busts because they didn't live up to their money. They ended up getting beat out by a guy that got like a 3rd round. you had defensive corners and stuff, and they're supposed to have like the best defensive players like in the league, like in like college football.
I think that just goes to show you how much different the NFL game is to college football.
Well, here's what's even different about it is because in college they are the best team and they have the best defensive coordinator and they play a 3-4 style or a 4-3 style. So you think their skills would translate better to the pro league than anyone else.
Yeah,
it's like a 3-5 or some kind of
zone read or whatever,
or like some kind of 4-2, 4-2-5, yeah,
whatever.
So I mean, I don't know.
Okay, so my point was when I mentioned that, don't give up on Blake Bortles, kids. Do not sleep on Blake Bortles. He's going somewhere.
My point was I think Kevin White's better. Kevin White's faster. He can jump higher. He's 2.5 inches taller.
I don't like his dreadlocks.
I don't like his dreadlocks. Every player has dreadlocks. Larry Fitzgerald has dreadlocks. He's still one of the classiest guys in the league.
He's so classy.
He is. Dreadlocks don't mean anything.
But I could like.
They actually were comparing him. They were comparing the two. They were on. I was listening to what was it? NFL. It was Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay, and they were comparing. No, in my iced coffee, frappuccino, spills on your lap, doesn't hurt, doesn't burn your skin. Anyway, they were talking about the best comparison for Amari Cooper and Kevin White. And he said Kevin White is closest to Larry Fitzgerald, but with Dez Bryant's height.
See,
Larry Fitzgerald's only 6'2".
See, Larry Fitzgerald is so pleasant that if I had enough money to do it, and it wouldn't be any degradation to him. It's not that I want to subject him to anything or subjugate him to me. Mm-hmm. But if I could hire any NFL player to be my butler, it would be Larry Fitzgerald. He is so well spoken and such a nice guy. Like, that's who I want as my butler, is Larry Fitzgerald. And it has no white or black thing. I don't even give a shit about that. It's just he'd be the greatest guy ever to be your butler, because he'd be like the constant wingman that would keep your ass out of trouble. And I love that about him.
Yeah.
I mean, there he is. What's he doing right now? You didn't know? Oh, he's getting his PhD from Phoenix University in broadcast communications. Boom. You know what he's going to do next. And people are going to be begging for him. Begging. Because he's so eloquent and well-spoken. I love that dude. Jesse picks him up every year in the draft. He hasn't really panned out the last 2 years.
Well, it's because I had a quarterback, to be fair.
Well, yeah.
Or this year he had a quarterback early, and the guy blew out his ACL. So, again.
So, anyway.
So, no, that was just that. And we'll talk about Tim Tebow for a couple minutes. You and I we talked about this, 3 podcasts ago, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
At an
I'm so happy.
I think Chip Kelly watches our podcast. Every time we say something stupid, he goes and picks them up.
You know what? I'm happy
we
for
talked
the kid.
About Dez Bryant going to the Eagles.
Boom.
Boom, we went to the Eagles.
He was there before we were done. We started that conversation before we were halfway through. Boom. Yeah. It happened. We knew it was going to happen before it happened. The cutest thing about that whole Tim Tebow thing is
Sanchez.
Oh my God!
Please don't pick him up. I can't go through this again. I'm Mark Sanchez.
They just signed him as a what the hell they say a practice quarterback or something.
Yeah, I'm sure
they just signed him as a practice quarterback. Are you fucking kidding me, Mark Sanchez? When is the last time you went to the playoffs and won a game?
Yeah,
one game. That's all I'm asking. Have you won one playoff game?
He's won 4.
Sanchez did?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Because he went to the AFC Championship games 2 years in a row.
How did Sanchez do that?
He had to create the best defense in the league by far.
So we're not going to put it on him. We're going to put it on his defense to get him there?
No, because in one game he had a game-winning drive in one game. He had to at least score points. I mean, it's not like he won to nothing.
Okay, not football related whatsoever at all. You got to pick one guy to hang out with, Tim Tebow or Mark Sanchez.
Oh, Tim Tebow.
Yeah, I'm going to hang out with Tim Tebow. He's a very godly individual, but I think he'd still be a fun conversation.
It's weird though that Raleigh Cooper was his roommate in college.
So are you saying Tim Tebow's racist?
No, I'm just I'm curious. I'm curious as if
that's how CNN would report this story.
I'm curious as to a couple things. If what Raleigh Cooper said, if that's how he truly feels, or if he was drunk, or if that's how he always was.
How many times have I said that word on this podcast?
I think twice.
Yeah, no one's coming here with pitchforks. No one gives a shit. It's just a fucking word.
I would disagree with that, but I'm not going to get into it.
That's a contextual conversation. It's also apolitical, especially with all the dumb shit happening in Baltimore right now.
Yeah.
But damn, seeing that woman beat the hell out of her son on TV,
dude,
that was the best.
Dude, she got social services taking her kid away from her. That kid needed his ass whooped. That's our problem with society. Anytime a woman or any parent rightly corrects their kid for being a dumbass, the government thinks they need to stick their nose in and tell them they can't do that.
That kid needed an ass whooping.
That kid needed 5 ass whoopings.
He needed a mama's ass whooping. And I mean, she was open palm beating the shit out of that boy, and he so had it coming. So.
And what you should have done is pay some big black guy to go kick the crap out of him. I do have a lot of respect for some people, because there's a handful of guys that, I don't know who they are, but there's a handful of dudes. There's a bunch of riders.
You talk about the line that they pulled in front of the cops? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Props to you guys. Awesome. Props to you guys. That's what needs to happen, not this bullshit that your little punk bitch kids are doing.
You heard what Ray Lewis said?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That statement over and over again.
Now,
then I saw the Twitter shit he dropped right after that.
Yeah. I've never had an issue with Ray Lewis. I know there's a lot of Steeler fans in this area that can't stand Ray Lewis. But that guy spoke truth. He spoke truth. That's all I got to say to that. He spoke truth. He said exactly what needed to be said, and he was 100% accurate in what he said.
Well, the only thing I'll say about Ray Lewis is whether or not the situation that he was accused of being a part of was his doing or someone else's doing. I have never seen anyone flip the switch and become the man that he needs to be, truly needed to be, than that. And if that was a wake-up call, regardless of what transpired, look at what he's doing now.
If you haven't seen the quote, go look it up.
Yeah, go.
Or just go listen to it.
Check the video on YouTube.
Yes,
it's all over Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Everyone's got it. I posted it. I shared it 2 days ago. But it's good shit. And I actually did sit down and watch part of that Coaching Bad. Man, he's a powerful dude. He really is.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the right words. He knows how to get people right in the head.
You can understand why he was such a pivotal role in that team.
Yeah, but
you know his play, but if that kind of passion you have in your locker room to get he could probably that's someone you could probably hire to get you motivated every morning. Get your ass up! You got stuff to do today. Today's yours. Own it. Woo!
But he'll psych you up without effing you to death.
Yeah.
He doesn't MF a dude. He'll drop.
I'm sure he does.
He'll drop a bomb. But I mean, man, he can do it without doing that, and that's coaching good right there.
Yeah.
When you can motivate them the right way using bad stuff, show them what they screwed up, and then motivate them positively.
He has something that they say that the guy on your computer screen.
Mariota.
The issue a lot of people have with Mariota is, first off, he wasn't a typical passing offense, like a pro style offense.
He took 3 snaps from
under center. That's because he nailed the ball.
3.
But the issue they have with him is they don't know if he's a leader.
James Winston's a natural leader.
The guy we were talking about, Ray Lewis, is a natural leader. That's what makes, and they talk about this in the NBA.
He wasn't at first though. That's the thing. Ray Lewis was there.
He always was.
Ray Lewis was there, but I don't think he was the emotional heart of that team until after that incident. And like I said, it doesn't even matter what happened now. It's been so long ago. But after that incident, something clicked on in his head, and he had some sort of realization.
No, he won the Super Bowl before that. He won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know, because he was celebrating the Super Bowl when all that shit went down. But it doesn't matter. But after that, it was just because you heard about Ray Lewis before then, but then after that moment, it was all about Ray Lewis, and for a year and a half, it was all bad publicity. And then this guy emerged, this dude that was just so.
All the Redskins, all the Steeler fans talk about him, but you know damn well if you were a Steeler fan, you would love to have Ray Lewis in your team's defensive huddle.
No shit.
Yeah. So, and that's what they say the issue with Mariota is they don't know if he's a leader of men. And most good quarterbacks, not all football players are born leaders and leaders of men, but some positions you have to be. And that's one thing about Ray Lewis is I'm pretty sure he could make a good coach because he might not have all the X's and O's figured out on both sides of the ball, but I'm positive he can get the part of leading people.
Well, when you hire the head coach, that's why you hire an offensive and defensive coordinator, and then a coordinator for this part of the line, and a coordinator for this part of the offense, and down the line. That's what those guys do.
I'm talking like he could probably be a head coach and just make sure everyone's like manage all the coaches and get them to do their job. That's what I think he could do.
I think he could do that very well. But I think he could motivate that team to listen to those people regardless of who they were. Yeah. Like, I think you could put Tim Tebow in as a quarterback coach under Ray Lewis as a head coach, and that quarterback will perform amazingly.
Yeah. I'll go in a personal. When I played high school football, I had two coaches. One was the head coach, and one was the offensive lines coach. Now, the offensive line coach basically was like, listen, he didn't say it like this, but I'm paraphrasing.
I like paraphrasing.
I know the head coach is an idiot. Basically what he said. But I have your guys' back, so go out there and do the best you can for me and have my back. That's all I can ask from you. I know he's wrong in a lot of things he says, but I'm teaching you the right way, so try your best to do it the right way. I'll have your back. You have mine.
Respect is truth.
Yeah. Okay.
Truth is respect.
Let's jump to.
We are way off topic.
We are not. We're
way off.
We're basically right now. We're pretty much going to go to our predictions for every team. Teams that we care about. Obviously, we're going to expand on. And we'll drop like our ideas for some teams and then move on. We'll just start. We're not going to start with our. We're going to bounce around, or else it's going to get kind of dumb. So let's just start division by division.
Buccaneers need everything.
Or you just want to go into with a draft? You want to do that?
I'm just saying Buccaneers need everything.
Quarterback, offensive line.
Everything.
Running back, too. Now they still have Doug Williams, right?
I don't need more mock drafts. Do I need more mock drafts? I think I need more mock drafts.
Yeah, they have Doug Williams. So they don't really need a running back, but he was injured a lot last year. So definitely quarterback.
Is that all 32? Sweet.
I think so.
Yep. Patriots in the end.
Cowboys Browns have 2. So
Browns have 2, Saints have 2.
So who are we missing? Someone's doesn't have a first round pick this year.
Yeah, Seahawks.
Okay, you're right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's right. They traded away for didn't they?
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah. Okay, Buccaneers
need everything.
Quarterback,
everything.
I don't think their defense was horrible last year, was it?
I don't think they have anything worth talking about. The only time their defense showed
Mike
up,
Evans.
They had a defense that showed up when they were supposed to lose.
Yeah.
And supposed to lose terribly. Like, yeah, they beat the Steelers.
And the Browns.
And, yeah.
Ravens.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. They need a little bit of everything.
They know
they're going to go with Winston.
There are some bright spots. They have Mike Evans. He did great last year. The rookie big receiver.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But they're going to go with quarterback, and actually they're trying to leave it up in the air whether or not it's Winston or Mariota, but it's going to be Winston.
I think
they're going to take Winston because they need someone to lead them.
Yeah.
That's what they need. And I'm sure Lovie Smith is going to figure something out down there, but he needs a little bit more.
Let's see. Marcus, Tex, I don't think.
I'm still up in the air about the Titans.
I
don't think a quarterback's going to fix them.
I think they're taking I think they're sold on Mettenberger. So I think they're going to take. I think they're going to take Leonard Williams, defensive end from USC.
Their defense does need help.
Their secondary was great. It's just
that's if they draft in second, man. Everything's up for grabs right now. Like these positions,
top 5. Well, if you get to 6,
2 through 6.
If Mariota's at 6, there's no trading.
2 through 6 is up for grabs right now.
2 through 5.
No, 2 through 6 is up for grabs.
1 through 5.
They're trying to move up.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying yeah, okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, 2 through 6, that's going to be fun tonight. I'm really hoping for something major. Like, what was it, 2012? There was like 38 trades in the first round. Yeah, that's what I want. I want craziness.
I think the Jaguars are going to go receiver. They're not a bad team. I play Madden all the time, and every now and then I take their team. I have a soft spot for them and like the Browns. I don't know. I don't think that they're a bad team. Every time I've watched them play or I've like played with them, they're a young team. They're like just a piece or two away from turning the corner. That's really what it is. And you're going to have a nice target. I think they're going to get Kevin White, not Amari Cooper. They need a big target. They don't need another Cecil Shorts.
Well, I think a wide receiver for Blake Bortles, because I'm telling everybody, don't write off Blake Bortles.
Well, they just got a tight end, so
don't write off Blake Bortles.
They got Julius Thomas. So
Raiders need everything.
They need defense. They're going to take.
Well, who did they get last year? Who's their quarterback?
Their quarterback is Derek Carr.
Oh, yeah. He's not bad.
He's not. No,
he needs help.
He might need a receiver too.
He needs help. That's what he needs. He needs help. He needs someone willing to do something other than make him get hit every down.
They probably need a receiver too. I think they're gonna have taken Fowler. Yeah, I think of it.
You think Fowler Jr.?
I think Fowler, or that he's gonna get. Oh, they might get the offensive tackle.
Leonard Williams is up there.
Andres Pete.
Could be.
So that's what I guess they're Redskins. Now I have my theory on the Redskins.
Schweitzer says they need Fowler more than they need anything.
No, they don't need Fowler. What I hope they're going to do is the Browns have offered us a trade down. Now, I don't know all of it, but what I've heard is it's 2 first-rounders and a second-rounder. This year's draft. So we're getting number 12, and I think it's like number 20. Yeah, number
12 and 19.
We'll get then we'll get their second-rounder this year. And if Mariota's available, they'll trade and pick Mariota there.
Oh, yeah, if Mariota's still sitting down there, because you guys aren't going to take him. You don't want him.
No. And the upside to that is then we can go get our defensive. We can go get a defensive end later. That's what
Cousins, McCoy, and RG3. Yeah, McCoy.
And we're actually trying to trade Cousins right now to the Buffalo. So I hope that happens too. We might get another second rounder. Maybe as late as a third. But my hope is we trade down. I had this in my thing. At number 12 for pretty cheap compared to what we would have, we can get one of those guys that got busted for drugs. We can get one of them because they're going to be a lot cheaper at 12 than they would have been at 5. We still have time to get an offensive tackle. If you go down a little bit more, what's his name? Yeah, we can get the offensive tackle, DJ Humphreys. Maybe he's still available at that point. And then early second round, we're projected to get the Nebraska running back. I can't remember the kid's name. He had like 500 rushing yards in one game last year. He's amazing. So that's what I'm hoping. If not, I will take Fowler. He's a very good player, but we need a defensive end rushing on an outside linebacker. That's my argument for that, but he can play both. So
the Jets add anything else to defense, they'll be all but unstoppable next year.
Yeah, Jets.
They're going to go
quarterback. If Mariota's there, they'll take.
They'll take Mariota if he's there. But
I would like to see Geno Smith one more year, one more year, and not under a coach that handcuffs him and doesn't give him anything to throw to. He's got weapons now. He's got Brandon Marshall. He now has Decker as his 2 rather than his number 1. He still has his tight ends.
Where did
Chase Amaro and Cumberland?
Where'd that other shithead end up?
What other shithead?
He's not a shithead. From the Seahawks?
Which one?
The only wide receiver they got from the Seahawks last year.
Percy Harvin?
Yeah.
Jets.
He's still on him? They re-signed him?
I think so.
Okay. He might be draft bait.
Oh, no. He went to, I think he went to Buffalo.
Well, if Buffalo would be able to draft a quarterback, they'd be in fantastic shape.
Because they have him. They also have Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
And they have
Sammy can
Sean McCoy.
Well, if Sammy can stay healthy.
Yeah, that's true too.
Dub Bears.
Wide receiver. You need a wide receiver. You got rid of Brandon Marshall. You need a wide receiver.
I still think they need a quarterback for this.
Everyone needs a quarterback.
Atlanta.
Defense.
I personally.
Their offense is always pretty good because they get great wide receivers and keep Julio Jones healthy because he's always been on my fantasy team. He always gets injured.
New York.
Offensive lineman. Maybe running back too, but I think it's draft running back that early.
Rams? I don't know. I could see the Rams making a move trying to get up a little higher.
No, they got Nick.
They got Foles.
Yeah, they don't need a quarterback now.
But Foles a viable bite for somebody else.
Maybe. They could also go offensive line or running back. They can go running back. Their running backs were horrible last year.
They have nothing.
Zach Stacy.
No one has them rated for a running back. Everything's a guard or a tackle.
It'll be second round because no one takes running backs that early. Wow, Todd Gurley to the Browns that early?
Yep.
Crap. Okay.
The drafts, the Browns.
Vikings.
I don't care what ESPN or NFL Network says. The Browns are the absolute worst drafting team of the last 5 years. They can't draft.
I don't say that because last couple years they've been great until they decided to trade up Big Johnny Manziel. But okay.
Trent Richardson.
Minnesota. What do they need? Receiver. But there's no good. Yeah, they can get a receiver. And I guess cornerback.
Yeah.
Or running back. They might get a running back if they trade away what's his name.
See, that's what I'm geeked about tonight. There's so much shit on the table tonight. Like this is going to be one of the more interesting drafts, or it's going to be the least interesting draft you've ever seen. But I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of shit going on in the background. It's going to be fun, and that's why I'm geeked. Usually I don't sit around and watch this shit, but this year I'm psyched. The Browns.
Browns. Oh my god. I still have a little bit. I like what Johnny Manziel did. I think this is his year. He's focused. It's his year. Now, what's his name? What's his name off the team now?
Gordon's suspended for a year.
Yeah.
Receiver.
Like last year, instead of getting a corner, you should have got Sammy Watkins. That's what you should have done. Because then when Gordon came back, wow, look at all the weapons you have. But you didn't do bad last year, and you had Brian Hoyer for most of the season.
They have had 2 picks in the last 3 out of 4 drafts. Come on,
first
kids.
round.
In the first round.
Yeah.
You should be able to do better than this. If there's a receiver available at that point, I would say take him. Actually, one statistician has Kevin White available at number 12. I don't think he'll drop that far, but there is what it is.
You never know. He's from West Virginia. There's not a lot of West Virginia lovers out there.
Saints need to start thinking about the future. So if they don't grab a quarterback in the first round, they need to grab one in the beginning of the second round.
I think they have their quarterback of the future. What's his name? Chase Daniels.
They need Bryce Petty. Does that not sound like a quarterback name? Bryce Petty.
Yeah.
See, they need him.
It's like Robert Griffin. Saints. They need defense. Their defense is always god awful.
Well, they could use a tight end. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of that going on this year.
Yeah, that's true.
Dolphins.
Running back.
They need a lifeboat.
Running back. Their defense, I think, is really good. They don't have a good running back, unless I'm missing someone.
Did you realize that the Browns' defense was the absolute worst defense against the run last year?
I did not know.
I did not know that either.
San
Francisco defense.
Everyone. All defense.
Defense. Texans.
Oh wow, that's a tough one. Their defense is pretty good.
I'd say wide receiver. They just lost Johnson.
Yeah, that's true. Wide receiver. Where did he go? Colts. That's right. He did go to Colts.
San Diego.
What do they need?
They might as well pick up Bryce Petty because Phillip Rivers ain't going to be there after this year.
I saw something last night. Sorry, what's my thought? Saw something last night that apparently he made up his decision what he's doing after this year. I didn't read it because my internet was.
He hasn't re-signed his contract. He hasn't signed his 5th year. He's going to play this year, but if they move to Oakland, he's gone. Money.
Oh, I tell you what Kansas City needs. I'll tell you what they need right now. They need to trade up and get a wide receiver. They had 0 touchdowns of wide receivers last year. 0. Okay? Now you have probably the best 1-2 combo in running backs in Niles Davis and Jamal Charles. They are just fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay? But you have to have their tight ends were great too, Fasano and Kelce.
If you don't have the deep threat, you can't establish a running game. You need both sides of the ball.
And imagine how much better that running game would be if you had the deep threat. So, and they still made the playoffs last year, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
The
Browns again.
Browns again.
Defense. Eagles. They need to trade up and get more.
Eagles. I would say they need a wide receiver.
Actually, their smartest move and the best thing they could possibly do is gamble a little bit and see if the Browns would bite on trading their 2 first-rounders for the future.
There's a rumor that they might try to trade Sam Bradford.
I would bait the Browns on that because having 2 picks in this year's draft would not be a bad thing. Would not be a bad thing, especially as far as defense goes. And they could use a little help on defense.
Chip Kelly, as much as I like the circus that he has going on there,
I love this.
He is under the gun. He needs to do something quick, fast, in a hurry.
He needs to get.
He has like 1 year to prove what he's doing.
He needs to win a playoff game this year. A playoff game.
I think he needs to get to the playoffs. He didn't make it last year.
I think he needs to win a playoff game. Not just get there, win one.
Cincinnati, quarterback.
The Red Rocks is not cutting for me.
No, honestly,
Green Beckham. Someone's got wide receiver.
Offensive tackle, I guess. They don't really
someone to keep. You know what? They need someone to keep the fire off of Dalton's ass so he has long enough to do anything without getting busted. Or rushed, because that's what happens. When he gets rushed, he can't do it.
Steelers, oh wow, your whole
Quarterback
secondary.
Cornerback safety.
Secondary.
Done. Detroit, defensive line.
Yeah, you
lost two really good.
Fairly too.
Yeah, they lost two really good guys. They need to stoke that.
Corner. Defensive tackle wouldn't be bad either, but corner.
I say DT.
They lost Cromartie. That's why I say defensive or corner. But I guess maybe they had a good backup. So usually good defensive teams, like for example Seattle, their backups are pretty good also.
Okay.
So I would say probably defensive tackle or offensive tackle. Who was their running back last year? I can see his name.
Joey Bell, Reggie Bush.
I'm talking about I'm talking about the Cardinals.
Oh, I was still in Detroit.
I was on Cardinals.
I have no idea.
That's why I said Cromartie. Cromartie didn't play for what's it? I can see his dang name. He wasn't like a flashy back, but he got like 80 yards a game. His damn name.
Okay, they don't need a running back would be the point he's trying to make.
Maybe a receiver, take some heat off of
DTs and OTs is what's across the board.
Yeah.
I'd say you take a heat
maybe
off.
not DTs.
They're still playing with Carson, right? I'd say an OT.
Tackle.
OT. Give the line a little bit more.
Protect them. Plus, even if he goes down again, you still got to block running. Oh wow.
Carolina
running back or receiver.
They have offensive guards and tackles across the board here. Flowers, Collins, Clemmings, and
Well, isn't Collins the guy you said just pulled himself out?
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, never mind. Lael Collins, he's out. He did a very smart thing by going back to clear his name. Good boy.
Melvin Gordon from Wisconsin. No, I don't think the Ravens need a running back because they re-signed Forsett. The Forsett was great last year.
Who'd they lose?
They lost
wide receiver. Right?
No, Onomaniata.
Elode.
They traded him to the Detroit. So maybe Detroit doesn't. Well, they still need another one to replace.
They don't need a wide receiver.
They need, I would say, defensive line.
Okay.
Or corner. No. Oh no, it's corner. Their corner was horrible. Their corner was horrible last year. Dallas. Running back. Your running back.
There's a hole that needs to be filled.
Yeah. Your running back is, what's his name? Shit.
They got Melvin on there.
No, their running back is, God, what's his stupid name? Run DMC. Darren McFadden. I think
the tires are done blowing off that bus.
I think he'll have a better year this year than he's had just because of the offensive line on Dallas.
Well, he's going to have a better chance at getting a better year because last year he didn't even get a chance.
I would say defense. I don't think their offense is going to help. I think their defense.
Well, every time they lost a game, it's because their defense didn't stick.
Yeah, so I would say defense. They're going to get Sean Lee back, so their middle linebacker position is going to get stronger. So I would say defense. Probably defensive tackle.
If Dallas drafts the Jahi, I'm gonna eat that fucking can, and then I'm gonna drive down to Dallas and punch Jerry Jones in his fucking face.
Broncos. Tight end. Oh no, they sent Greg Olsen, so never mind.
Yeah, they got Greg Olsen.
So not running back.
Let's not give Peyton Manning more time. Let's give him more. Let's not give him more weapons. Let's give him more time.
Offensive line.
Yeah, let's shore up that line a little bit.
Still pretty. That late in the draft. Late in the first round, you think you're getting a good offensive line?
Could go defense. I mean, it's not like, well, unless they go and pick up their quarterback in the future, because I don't think the kid is sitting behind Peyton's ready to go.
Painter, is it? Whoever it is, he sucks. We don't even know his name.
Oh, Colts. Well, they fixed their running back problem. They fixed their wide receiver problem.
I think they still need another wide receiver. Their tight ends are amazing. They have probably maybe the two best tight end combo next to the Patriots. So, in the Chiefs, of course.
Yeah.
But defense.
Yeah, defense lost in that game when we were.
Yeah, I'd say they're secondary.
See,
strong safety. That's what they're going for. So I would say defense.
Okay. Green Bay.
Did they lose? They didn't lose any receivers, did they?
I don't think they lost much of anything.
They lost Hawk.
They lost. Yeah.
Hawk went to.
Was he an end or a tackle?
Hawk was a.
Or an ILB?
Oh, he was a linebacker, bud.
Well, they got Kendricks and Perryman on there.
Well, Byron James, I've heard good things about him. He was a very good corner this year, so maybe they take him.
Green Bay could always use a little help on D.
Well, their offense is amazing. You have 3 good running backs. My God. Well, all 3 of your running backs are Lacey. You have Lacey, Franklin, and who's the other one? Starks. All 3 are pretty good running backs.
I still would like a Jahi.
Yeah.
I'll explain that in a minute.
Phil, Saints again.
Saints again.
Oh, who didn't have a first round pick?
Well, apparently 2 teams.
Oh, Seattle. Seattle, they probably need a receiver.
Seattle missed a first round pick, and who else?
How about you just bring up the divisions real quick? We have the Patriots left. That's the last one we have to do. So, hold on. Okay, Redskins, Giants, Eagles, Dallas. We did all that.
All in.
Okay, we have Seahawks, so we have to do Seahawks still. They need a receiver. Their defense is gravy. It's great. It's probably going to be great for the next 4 or 5 years. And then you have our offense. They don't need a backup running back as long as they have Marshawn Lynch. So I would say they go receiver. So that's that division. Yeah, we did all the teams in that division, right? Yeah. 49ers defense. Yeah. Bears.
Chicago.
We did Chicago wide receiver. They need a wide receiver to replace.
Eagles, Redskins, Dallas, and
what's up, buddy?
Eagles, Redskins, Dallas, and what?
New York.
New York.
I think all the. Okay, hold on.
Jets, Patriots.
We can just bring it to the divisions and figure this out real quick. Buffalo. That's who we missed.
Buffalo, yeah, Buffalo.
Buffalo needs a
quarterback.
Yeah. Buffalo needs. Their defense is going to be amazing this year. NFL divisions. I'll just bring that up really quick.
No, that's it. We're good. That's who we're missing. Buffalo and Seattle. Yep, I'm right.
And then the Patriots. But
but no, the 2 teams we're missing in the first round are Buffalo and Seattle.
Okay. So Buffalo, I think you need one more receiver. I think. Maybe offensive line help. But if they can't trade up and get a quarterback, let's say they trade their second rounder and get Kirk Cousins, I think that's better than what they had. So,
I think it's gonna be a lot of second round moves this year too. Second, third.
I don't know.
I think there might be some dancing. If there's no dancing tonight in the first round, all the dancing is gonna be done in the second and third.
Okay. Dolphins, Jets, Bills, Patriots. Well, the Patriots need secondary help because they lost.
I don't care what the Patriots need.
Patriots need safety or corner because they lost. They lost both the corners, Brandon Browner, and they lost Darrelle Revis. So they need corners.
Patriots need Tom Brady to retire. That's what the Patriots.
No, that's what the rest of the league needs. Bengals. Okay, well, Bengals. Okay, that division's good. That division's good. That division's good. Redskins down. That division. Yeah. Okay. We pretty much got it.
We're covered.
So that's our prediction on the NFL draft.
We'll see how we go.
Redskins signed RG3 to the next year extension. So that's why I don't think we're taking Mariota. I thought we were going to wait till tomorrow to do that.
What?
Sign RG3. Because that way we had more of a trade bait for other teams. And we didn't sign RG3 yet.
You only have till May 3rd to do it, and is he really going to drive in on a Sunday to make that happen?
Well, you could just do it tomorrow. Because if you don't sign him, if he's not signed today, then it's more believable. Like, oh, hey, we're going to take Mariota unless you want him more. Oh, God, we got to take Mariota, so we got to. They haven't signed RG3 yet, so obviously they're going to do this. So we got to. Here's 3 first-round picks. Ha, suckers! Got your picks. Sign RG3. That's what everyone thought the original plan was. So.
Nah.
So
their new general manager, I think, is a little bit more intelligent than just gaming.
He's way more intelligent. Their off-season picks have been great.
So essentially, I'm wearing my Boise State because I'd like to see Ajayi go at least at the end of the first round. I know it's unlikely, but I'd just like to see it. Of course, he's going to go with the Redskins gear, but that's just how we roll.
Sean Taylor, number 21.
Hey, I'm not disrespecting. I'm just saying. You went with the NFL gear. I went with the college gear. That's just how we roll.
I have my Avenger stuff on like this.
I'm just wearing a random movie.
So everyone knows I'm going to see Age of Ultron.
It had to be Hulkbuster Iron Man.
It had to be. Don't hate. You hating?
I'm not
You jelly? All right. Anything else you want to
add? No, we could actually just let this one go for another 20 seconds and have a solid hour.
We could.
Really just sit here.
Or we can just stop it short because we've never done that before.
Enjoy the draft, kids.
See ya. Go see Age of Ultron. Comes out tonight.
Yes,
it's amazing.
Please do.
Amazing.
Please do. I'm going to see it at least 3 times.
There'll be a new Batman trailer. There's another Batman trailer coming out too. See ya.